Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon and today I am bringing you the start of a vlog. This vlog is going to be a rereading favourites vlog. I'm going to be rereading the Fall Away series. I had originally read this in 2017. 2017? Like, I don't know, how old would I have been? Yeah, I think it was 2017 because I think I would have been 18 when I read this. Now I have the physical editions. I would like to reread the first three books, which is the books I remember loving really well. So it starts with Bully, then Rival, then Falling Away. And this is a new adult bully romance series. They're like, it's not essentially a series, they're like in the same world following characters. Like this one follows Jared and Tate, this one follows Jared's best friend Maddox and Fallon, and then this one follows Jared's brother Jackson and Tate's best friend Casey. So like it's the same world with the same characters, but you can read each novel individually. So I'm gonna get into these and I will come back with my thoughts as I read them. I'm so excited. I loved it the first time I read it, so I can't wait to re-experience these books. So I will check back in once I have read some of these. I finished Bully by Penelope Douglas and I have some thoughts. So originally when I read this, I read it back in 2018 and I read it on a Kobo, which tells you all you need to know because I didn't actually have a Kindle when I first read this. And oh my god, the nostalgia I get while reading this is unreal. I feel like I'm biased by rating this again as a 5 stars just simply because of the feels that this book gave me. Objectionally, this book is not a 5-star read. It's probably closer to a 4-star read, but because of that feel factor, I've decided to just re-5-star it, which I'm fine with because at the end of the day, like, I rate dependent on feels, and I read this in a day again. I read it in a day the first time. I just love Penelope Douglas's writing, and the characters that they create are just really well developed. Even the side characters are well developed. So I'm gonna just talk some pointers before I go into spoilers. This book is about Jared and Tate, and Jared starts to bully Tate after them being friends for 4 years. They spent their childhood together, they were neighbours, but then he changed. He went away for the summer to visit his dad and he came back, and then Tate was a target pretty much, and she's been a target since. That's where the story takes place at the start, and then we jump a year into the future where Tate returns from her year abroad of studying in Paris or France, I believe. And then when she comes back, things start to change because she decides she's going to fight back and she's not going to take Jared's bullshit anymore, pretty much. And this leads for a pretty dramatic read because it's a back and forth between these two characters that it has sexual tension, but it also has this kind of deeper emotional kind of value because you know that not everything's being told to you straight off the bat, which you get into later on. Pretty much we just follow them as they try and figure out what's between them, why Jared's bullying Tate, Tate's trying to figure out why things ended up this way when they were so close when they were friends, and then the story progresses. I didn't realise how mean Jared was. Upon reread, I kind of realised that he was really mean to Tate, which makes sense. It is called Bully for a reason. It is a bully romance for a reason. But I think the first time that I read this, I was so in awe of the fact that I had never read a smutty romance, and I had never read a bully romance or a dark romance at that. So I think the first time I read it, I was all for this new foray into this genre. This time I am a little bit more well versed in smut, and this is not as smutty as I remember it being, and I think that's because I've read some smutty books in the last 4 years. So the smut factor was kind of not there as much as I remember it being, but I do like the emotional factor this book brought along. I'm going to go into mild spoilers here, so if you don't want to be spoiled, please wait until the indication on the screen is gone or skip to the next chapter. I will put chapters so this is easier for your viewing pleasure. Spoilers, okay. The relationship between Tate and Gerard is fractured at best, and I do not agree with the fact that Gerard takes his anger out on Tate because it's the only person that stays around him, which seems like a big excuse. I understand that Gerard goes through a lot. The reason that Gerard bullies Tate is because he went away for the summer and got abused by his dad. And when he came back, he seen Tate with his mum and her dad living a normal life. And that angered him, which made him take his anger out on Tate, which I don't agree with because she didn't do nothing wrong. And like, there's better ways to deal with it. But then also, like, it's a big plot point in the book that he tells Tate this, which means that he's like trusting her, and it does come across as genuine, but at the same time it's kind of hard to put all the stuff he's done in the past and forgive him and want him to be with Tate. I wish this book was like 50 pages longer so we could get a kind of a look into Gerard as a boyfriend more and to see what he does, because there are some really romantic moments that Gerard pulls out of his sleeve in this book, specifically putting lights all over the tree that they used to climb on when they were children. Like, oh, that hurt the feels. And then when they finally get together, there's this plot point that a video gets leaked of Tate having sex with Gerard, and she thinks it's him, but you know as the reader that it wasn't him because all of the kind of forgiveness and leeway that you give Gerard would have totally went down the shitter if it was him, and they wouldn't end up together and people wouldn't be happy if they end up together. It was a smart move because it kind of pushed them towards each other to trust each other again, but at the same time I kind of wish that instead of that plot point we had more time as Gerard and Tate as a couple and doing couple things and seeing Gerard in a boyfriend role. I think the whole leaked porn video, whatever you want to call it, leaked sex tape, I think that just added a bit more drama and was for kind of shock value, but not the shock value that you normally get. I think that it would have done well to take that out and then just add in Gerard being a sweetheart to Tate after being such an like asshole to her. But either way, I really enjoyed this book. I, again, am excited that I'm rereading these. Objectionably, this would be a 4 stars, but I'm going to 5-star it because I read it in a day again. I love Penelope Douglas's writing, and I do really enjoy the characters in this book. Tate and Gerard both are amazingly fleshed out characters, and they're very in your face, not 2D at all, which I enjoy. And even though this might not be for everyone, it is definitely for me. I enjoy like a second chance romance, a dark romance, something that's rooted in pain. This book is definitely rooted in pain. I feel like it brings a different kind of view on romance as well, because not everything is green grasses and rosy pastures. This book is a little bit more realistic than that, if not realistic in other places. I did enjoy my reread of this, which means I now, where is it? Where did I put it? Oh no. Yeah. Which means now I am going to go on to Rival. Technically, I would go on to Until You, which is the... So Until You is the second book, which is Bully, but instead of Tate's perspective, it's Gerard's perspective. But instead of reading the same book back to back from different perspectives, I've decided to read Bully, move on to the third book, read the fourth book, and then I will return to the second book and kind of like reread Bully from Gerard's perspective, just so it breaks up what I've already read. This one I'm so excited for. This one is between Maddox and Fallon, and we already meet Maddox in Bully, and I remember this one pretty well. There's this certain car scene and it was the first time that I had read like a smutty scene, and this car scene and there's this mirror scene, like these both stick in my head from this book. I have really good memories of this one. I think this is the one that really amped up the whole series for me, because even though I do really enjoy Jared and Tate, I still think that I have a soft spot for Maddie and Fallon, and I'm just hoping that that soft spot stays throughout my reread. So in this book, we follow Maddie, who we have already met in Bully, and he is a prick. He's not very nice, but in this book, we get to see a different side of him. He has a stepsister, which is not technically his stepsister anymore because the marriage split up between his mum and dad, and she comes back to live in his house for like summer break from boarding school. And this then sets off a lot of problems for Maddox because there's like this sexual tension, but also Maddox has been known to like kind of bully her a little, and Fallon has coming back and is not going to take his shit anymore and kind of like knows her own mind. And I remember just immensely enjoying this one, so I'm really excited to jump back into this and see if my experience is the same. I believe that even if I didn't give all of these books a 5 star, so like objectionably 4 star, but I'm gonna 5 star it just for the nostalgic feeling enjoyment that I had. I think because I read these back to back, like there was no break in between. I literally finished one and started the other one, the next one in the series. I think the first time I read this, I kind of rated all of the books, all 4 of the books, on kind of like a series basis. So it felt right because I gave like the series a 5 stars. It felt right to give every individual book a 5 stars. I mean, I feel slightly different about them now, but I'm still really enjoying myself, and that is like a mark of a 5 star for me. If I read a book in one sitting and still rave about it 4 years later, then that's a mark of a 5 star, even if I'm trying like not to overthink that I'm giving these a 5 star, if that makes any sense. But if any of the books in this series deserve a 5 star in my mind right now, it would be this one. This one was my favorite of the series. So hopefully I will enjoy it just as much as I did the first time, and I will come back and let you know my thoughts on this one once I have read it. Hey, I'm back because I have some thoughts on Rival by Penelope Douglas. I've been reading this pretty consistently for the last couple of days, well, the last day, like the last 12 hours, couple of days. Anyways, I have some thoughts. So chapters 8, 9, and 10 were fabulous. The car scene came up, which I was really excited about because that was stuck in my brain and it was just as good upon reread. And it, I understand why it's stuck in my brain now. So I'm really enjoying this. I also kind of forgot that their parents are still kind of married, but like they're trying to divorce each other. So that was like kind of a shock to the system. I also forgot, mild spoilers here, well, no, actually spoilers here. I forgot that Fallon actually ended up pregnant and had to get rid of the baby, which gives this a lot more of a hard-hitting feel. I completely kind of blocked that plot line out of my head because when that came up, I was actually shocked. Like, I was surprised. So, like, obviously, I don't remember this book as well as I thought I did. But so far, I'm really enjoying it, and I plan on trying to finish this tonight. So hopefully I will check back in later with another finished book down and some more thoughts. It has been a minute because I have had the worst month of my life, and I have not been updating vlogs or really doing anything YouTube related. All the videos I've had come out in the past couple of weeks have been batch filmed. So like this is the first time I've been in front of a camera for like 3 weeks. And it's not funny. I got COVID, but if I don't laugh about it, I'll cry about it. So I got COVID. I'm literally just over the worst of it. For the first 3 days, I slept like 65 hours out of the 72 hours because I just could not bear being awake. Um, I was just tired all the time. But now I'm feeling kind of okay. Like, I still don't feel 100%, but I feel a lot better than I did. And I thought this would be the perfect time to update this vlog because I actually finished Rival by Penelope Douglas and I have some thoughts. I really enjoyed this. I am giving this a 5 star. Upon reread, I kind of had forgotten quite a lot of the plot points in this book. So when I reread it, I felt like it was a new experience in a way because I had forgotten quite a lot of what happened in this book. So it was like reading it all over again for the first time, and it was kind of a really enjoyable experience. The characters, Madik and Fallon, in here were exactly as I remember them. They had not changed from my memory, so I was happy about that. The plotline, though, was a lot more hard hitting than I remember. So I'm going to go into mild spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, wait until the spoiler warning is off the screen. And yeah, one of the biggest plot points in this story was that Madik and Fallon had a relationship when they were younger, and she ends up pregnant due to this sexual relationship that they have. And the pregnancy is aborted and hidden from Madik. And like, I don't remember this. Like, I read this, what, like 5 years ago, and I do not remember this being a plot line. How old? I would have been 19. And maybe I just like completely blew past the fact that there was a pregnancy and an aborted pregnancy at that. But when I reread this, I was like, Fallon was pregnant? Like, I don't know, it just completely left my brain. So the surprise and shock that I got from reading that was like, again, reading like a new book. Another thing I had forgotten was Madik and Fallon's mum and dad are not actually divorced at the time of this book. They're going through a separation, and Fallon's mother is making it harder than it needs to be. So they're actually technically still married, but like Maddox's dad's having an affair with Gerard's mum, and I'm like, do I remember anything from this story? Like, apart from the few sexy scenes and the characters, like, do I remember anything from this story? Because I remembered quite a lot from Bully, but this one actually took me by shock because I don't remember as much as I thought I did. But I guess it made the experience that much more enjoyable going back and rereading it because it was like rereading something new. In conclusion, I'm going to give this book a 5 stars. I enjoyed this more than the first one. The first one I gave 4 stars. This one I'm giving 5 stars because it was more hard hitting. The characters were more developed and had more backstory, more intrigue. The whole plot line of this story was a lot more dramatic, which made my intrigue and enjoyment go up. And even though it deals with more hard hitting themes, I feel like these were the perfect characters to take on that themes. So yeah, I'm really glad that I reread this and I give it a 5 stars upon reread. This one follows Jackson, who is Jared's little brother, and Casey, who is Tate's best friend. And I'm already like, yeah, I'm pretty much finished this. This is why I'm saying I suck at updating this vlog because I was on the struggle bus. So like, yeah, like I'm 316 pages into this, which means I have 100 pages left, and I have not updated at all on my thoughts on this. So in this one, we follow Jared's little brother Jax, who has had a hard life, a hard upbringing. His story is more traumatic. Even like this story is even more traumatic than Rival, and I feel like with every book in this series as it progresses, like emotion progresses with it in a sense, I believe, if that makes any sense. But so far, I am like almost finished, but I'm really enjoying this story. And I do remember parts of this just simply because I did really enjoy Jax as a character. He has such a bad backstory, a traumatic backstory, that it tends to stick with you. And throughout this whole book, it is common knowledge that Jax and Casey um, don't really have the best childhood to look back on. And maybe that's why they bond so much, because their childhoods weren't this happy childhood that most kids experience, or like not something they can look back on in a happy sense. And I think that's why these two characters are drawn together, because Casey hides the fact that she's had a hard upbringing, and Jax calls her out on it. And Jax doesn't hide the fact he's had a bad upbringing, but kind of dwells in it a little. And Casey calls him out on his bullshit, which is nice to see. And I just feel like there's a magnetic force with these characters more so than the others. Like Jared and Tate, I get it. Maddox and Fallon, yeah, like they're like drawn to each other in a sense. But Casey and Jax are like magnets. Like if they weren't gonna like be together, they would repel each other. Like it just works. And following this story with Jax's dad going, I'm going to go into spoilers here, so if you don't want to be spoiled again, please just skip to the part there's no spoiler warning. Jax's dad is in prison at the moment for the abuse he dealt to Jax and Jared, and he is going to get out. And Jax and Jared have just found out that he's getting out, and now Jax has Casey to worry about, and not only himself. So they've decided to go on a camping trip. The whole relationship surrounding Jax and his dad is such a tumultuous like relationship, because Jax wants revenge, but also he doesn't want to jeopardize his future. But his dad is like very like tormentative. Is that a word? Tormentative. If it's a word, I'm gonna leave it up here so that we can all learn new words today. Or if it's not a word, I just made up a word. So Jax has to deal with that, but it didn't bother him when it was just him that had to deal with it. But now that his love for Casey has grown, he doesn't want her involved with anything to do with his dad, which is just like so sweet and heartwarming, especially since you start this book off with Jax being like an absolute dick. And then he grows into this person who is like caring and sweet, and it's like he was that all along. It was just hidden under layers of protection against the world. And I don't know, I'm really enjoying this. Like I think again, with every progression of this series of the books, it just gets more emotional. The characters have more of backstory, and you have more of an emotional attachment to the characters because you've seen them in previous books. So I feel like every book I read, I just get more and more attached, and I get more and more out of it. So I'm going to go and finish this book and check in. I'm actually going to check in this time, um, hopefully, because I feel better now. So I'm going to go finish this book, and I will come back and tell you my thoughts on this one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read Until You, which is the first book. So it's bullied, but instead of from Tate's perspective, it's from Jared's perspective. So it's the same story, just swapped POVs. I don't know if I'm going to get to that in this vlog. We shall see, because I want this up um by Tuesday, hopefully. So like if I can't fit it in, then I'm just going to class this as the trilogy. Um and then I can read that in another vlog, because it is the same story. I've read the story, it's just a different perspective. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have nothing to do for the next couple of days because I'm still in quarantine. And yeah, I'm not allowed to leave my house. So, like, the only things that I can do is read, write, draw, and watch stuff. But at the moment, I don't know what I want to watch because Euphoria is only getting released every Monday, and like that's all I want to watch. I just want to watch Euphoria, but I can't because it's only every Monday. So now I'm just stuck for what to watch. I have been watching like crime documentaries, which is technically like my default. Maybe that and like Friends and The Big Bang Theory are my defaults when I don't have anything to watch. But I do plan on maybe looking for a film to watch later or maybe starting a new show. But I'm gonna finish this before I commit to anything watching anything so that I can hopefully finish out this vlog or start the next book to finish out this vlog. So either way, I will stop my mouth from running and go read and check in soon. I finished Fallen Away and I'm gonna give this 4.5 stars. This one wasn't as good as Rival, but it was better than Bully. I enjoyed the characters immensely. I really do like Jackson and Casey and the dynamic of their relationship. I also think that, again, the emotional plot lines just deepen as the book series goes on. I think the thing that made me not give this a full 5 stars was that it was slower paced. It felt slower paced than the other two. I have them here. It felt slower paced than the other two, so that like I flew through these in a couple of days, but I kind of dragged my feet on this one, and I don't know why. I feel like the ending didn't really give me what I wanted as much as Rival, and I don't know. I did still really enjoy this book, obviously. I gave it a 4.5 star. I don't know. I kind of fell off reading it, and I think it hindered my enjoyment of it. And even though I really enjoy the characters, I wish the plot was a little more in depth because it felt like, oh, I have something in here. I wish the plot was a little bit more like not interesting. It was definitely interesting. I just like more flashbacks from Jax's childhood or Casey's childhood brought into the story would have made the plot seem a bit more like not dramatic or more entertaining, I guess. And I feel like the whole back and forth between Jax and Casey was just like dragged out too long. I wish they got together sooner so that we could see them as a couple kind of like coming to terms with their trauma and coming together. But overall, I really enjoyed this. And to be honest, overall, I really enjoyed all of these books. I had so much fun rereading them. I gave Bully a 4 star, I gave Rival a 5 star, and I gave Fallen Away a 4.5 star. So overall, is this still a favourite series? Yes. Yes, it is. I will probably always reread these because I enjoy them so much. I would only recommend them if you look up content warnings or if you're used to the kind of dark bully romances because some of them are pretty heavy. Am I glad I bought them in physical edition? I am. I love Penelope Douglas, so to finally have some of their work in physical format makes my heart so happy. And yeah, I'm so glad I done this experiment. I reread 3 favourite books from the same series and they came out again as favourites. Maybe not all 5 stars like the first time I read them, but definitely favourites and definitely ones that I will read again. So that is it for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. Like if you want me to do more of these rereading favourites vlogs, let me know in the comments. I don't mind doing these. I actually want to prioritise rereading some favourites anyway because I feel like we're also pushed to read new releases and to like find that new favourite book that sometimes the books that we've loved previously don't get as appreciated as much in like now. That doesn't make any sense. I feel like some of the books that I've read and favourited would definitely be different now considering my reading tastes have changed. I've grown as a reader. I know what I like more. now. So rereading favorites is kind of a really fun experiment because you never know what you're going to end up with. And also, like, you could reread a favorite and have a completely different experience, and you could probably end up not having it as a favorite anymore. So if you'd like to see another one of these videos, please comment down below. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, like, do whatever you would like to do, and I will see you in my next video. Stay safe, happy, and healthy.